Lisa Leslie exposes Angel Reese and stands with Caitlin Clark on her podcast. Everything seemed normal until Lisa Leslie, yes, the Hall of Famer who practically built the WNBA from scratch, decided to speak up in a way nobody expected. In one stunning conversation, she praised Caitlin Clark to the heavens, questioned the negativity swirling around her, and then dropped a truth bomb directly on Angel Reese, on Angel's own podcast. That single moment had fans, critics, and players asking, what exactly just happened? Did Lisa Leslie really defend one of the most hyped young stars in basketball while politely dismantling another's biggest weakness, all in one go? This is more than a clash of personalities. It's a collision of eras. On one side is the unstoppable surge of Caitlin Clark, capturing headlines and rewriting record books. On the other is Angel Reese, who burst onto the scene with undeniable talent and a brash, confident aura. And orchestrating the entire crescendo is Lisa Leslie, whose stance on these rising stars may have permanently changed how we see the future of women's basketball. But the real question isn't just about who's right or wrong. It's about how this tension could reshape the league for years to come. Something big is happening here, bigger than a single rivalry, bigger than a single championship. For women's basketball, this moment could define an entire generation. So let's dive into the showdown, where we'll uncover not just the hype around Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese, but the visionary steps Lisa Leslie took to push the WNBA toward a new era of honesty, mentorship, and accountability. Buckle up, because the conversation is about to get real. But that's only the beginning. The surprising showdown Lisa. Leslie's name has always carried weight. When she steps into a room, virtual or otherwise, people listen. They might expect sweet nostalgia about her glory days, or maybe a bland corporate endorsement. They do not expect her to unleash game-changing truths, especially on someone else's podcast. Yet that's precisely what happened. Angel Reese, a rising star who's been at the center of multiple headlines, invited Lisa onto her platform for what many assumed would be a lighthearted, affirming conversation. After all, Angel had soared. In college, earned a tidal wave of fans, and arrived in the WNBA with as much hype as any newcomer could hope for. They'd presumably chat about the league, reflect on Lisa's iconic career, and perhaps share a few motivational tidbits. Standard stuff. But Lisa Leslie had different plans. She didn't show up just to sprinkle compliments around like confetti. She came equipped with perspectives on both Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese. Perspectives that, at times, cut deeper than anyone anticipated. One minute she's defending Clark against critics who can't handle the fact she's a major draw. The next minute she's telling Reese directly, "You need to fix your layups." It was a moment so unexpected that jaws across social media collectively dropped. From that instant on, the conversation mutated into something far bigger than a routine interview. It became about veterans confronting rookies, about hype meeting history, and about one of the greatest players of all time demanding higher standards from the next generation. For fans, it was electric. For Angel Reese, it was humbling. For Caitlin Clark, it was a vindication of her approach to the game. And yet, Lisa wasn't finished. The real shock came when she dove into why Caitlin Clark's hype is not just justified, it's essential. The Caitlin Clark phenomenon. To understand the ground-shaking effect of Lisa Leslie's words, you need to grasp who Caitlin Clark is. If you've been following women's basketball at all in the past few seasons, you know her name. She's the guard who racks up points in ways some people claim haven't been seen since Diana Taurasi's prime. She's that fearless shooter from Iowa who can drain a 30-foot three like it's a casual mid-range jumper. And she talks SAT, yes, SAT, but in a way that many find wildly entertaining. While her style riles up critics who think she's too flashy or that she's hogging attention, her impact on viewership is impossible to ignore. Television ratings spike when Caitlin Clark plays, and entire fan bases that once barely glanced at the WNBA or NCAA women's games are now paying close attention. From record-breaking crowds to massive social media engagement, the Caitlin Clark effect is very real. Broadcasters and league officials certainly see it, which explains why national TV spots seem to follow her like a devoted fan club. Yet her rising star power has triggered debates within the league. Some seasoned pros have questioned whether the hype overshadows other players. Others privately grumble about the marketing machine focusing too heavily on a single athlete. The cynics argue that she hasn't won a national championship, so why anoint her the face of the sport this early? In short, the buzz around Clark ignites controversy at every turn. Enter Lisa Leslie. Unlike those who merely gripe from the sidelines, Leslie chose to articulate why Caitlin Clark's skyrocketing fame actually helps everyone. She highlighted Clark's humility and her tendency to recognize the legends of the game. At a time when it's easy to get lost in self-promotion, Clark's willingness to pay homage to players like Sue Bird, Diana Taurasi, and, of course, Lisa Leslie herself stands out. According to Lisa, that respect for the game's legacy is just as vital as her jaw-dropping point totals. And in one breath, Lisa shifted from praising Clark to revealing a fundamental truth that set the stage for what came next. Lisa Leslie's game-changing insight. Lisa Leslie has never been one to mince words. In her era, she was dunking before it was trendy, breaking records as casually as someone might brew a morning coffee, and forging a path for women's basketball to gain the respect it deserved. So when she speaks, she does so with a sense of mission. And that mission often involves telling people the truths they need to hear, even if it stings. In her remarks, Lisa didn't merely say, "Caitlin Clark is good." She said Caitlin Clark is transformational, crediting her for uplifting college ball, generating mainstream buzz, and even helping the WNBA by extension. For Lisa, this isn't about picking favorites, it's about league expansion. More eyes on Caitlin Clark means more eyes on the women's game as a whole, leading to better TV deals, bigger crowds, and eventually bigger paychecks for everyone who steps onto the court. But Leslie didn't limit her analysis to Clark's game or even her marketing power. She also boldly tackled the swirling drama around Clark's stardom. Rather than attacking veterans who've shown jealousy or dismissing them as out of touch, Lisa used logic. When one of us eats, we all eat. In other words, if the league pours resources and attention into a single star, and that star succeeds in bringing in new fans, the entire league benefits. In that sense, complaining about another player's popularity is like complaining about a rising tide when you're on a sinking boat. This logic extends to everything from national TV schedules to endorsement deals. Veteran players might feel overshadowed, but Lisa gently pointed out that hype doesn't have to be a zero-sum game. Growth is growth, and anyone stepping up their performance can catch that wave of momentum. But then came the moment no one saw coming. Lisa Leslie turned her attention to Angel Reese, and she didn't sugarcoat a thing. Angel Reese under the microscope. Angel Reese is no stranger to headlines. She's confident, marketable, and she dominated in college to the point of making opponents look silly. Fans adore her feisty spirit and her visible swagger on the court. Sponsors have lined up to capitalize on her newfound stardom. So you'd think having a legend like Lisa Leslie on her podcast would be a guaranteed love fest, right? Wrong. Because Lisa Leslie, in the politest way possible, called Angel out for something so basic it stunned everyone. Missed layups. Yes, layups. The first thing aspiring players learn in Pee Wee basketball. Lisa hinted that Angel's finishing percentages near the rim are alarmingly inconsistent, especially for someone with the physical gifts to be a star forward. Some watchers think it's a mechanical problem. Her form is off. Others suspect it's psychological, some version of the yips that makes easy buckets harder than a contested three-pointer. The reaction from the basketball community was immediate. How could Angel, who soared so high in college, struggle with something so fundamental in the pros? Yet the bigger story wasn't the flaw itself. It was the fact Lisa dropped this critique on Angel's own podcast. That's the kind of move that, if delivered by someone less respected, could have ended in a heated argument or a quick edit to erase the embarrassing snippet. But Lisa Leslie is beyond reproach in these circles. Her Hall of Fame status gives her words an air of undeniable gravity. Even more surprising was Angel Reese's response, or lack thereof. She didn't lash out or call Lisa old school. She listened. The clip remained in the final cut of the podcast, exposing Angel's biggest weakness to an audience that likely tuned in expecting a friendlier dialogue. This was raw, unscripted honesty in an environment that often sugarcoats everything for public consumption. But that wasn't the whole story. The next bomb Lisa dropped opened a new door entirely, hinting at a future league built on accountability rather than rivalries. rivalries, rumors, and controversies. Before we examine Lisa's master plan, let's take a second to address the swirling rivalries, rumors, and controversies that made her comments resonate so strongly. The Clark versus Reese feud. It's not just fans who fueled the Caitlin Clark versus Angel Reese narrative. Certain media outlets do it too, pitting these two stars against each other for clicks and discussion. Some call it a Marvel-level rivalry, as if we need heroes and villains to keep the storyline interesting. But the truth is more nuanced. While they did face off dramatically in college, there's a sense that both players respect each other's skill sets, even if they do trash talk when the moment calls for it. Resentment from WNBA vets Caitlin Clark's name has been linked to silent resentment from some current players who feel overshadowed. Comments and tweets appear, dripping with passive-aggressive undertones. Journalists speculate on whether jealousy is at play. Meanwhile, the league sees massive ratings whenever Caitlin is on screen. Lisa Leslie stepped into this tension to say, "Stop complaining. If she's good for the game, then she's good for everyone." Endorsement drama. Endorsements form another flashpoint in controversies. Brands love fresh faces with star potential, and Caitlin Clark checks those boxes. Meanwhile, some proven veterans wonder why they aren't landing similar deals. Angel Reese found her own endorsement wave from college onward, yet the question remains whether these deals are overshadowed by Clark's unstoppable momentum. Again, Lisa Leslie's stance is clear. More marketing equals more money for the sport and, ultimately, for everyone. National coverage battles. More coverage for Caitlin Clark's college games has triggered heated debates about how networks schedule women's basketball. Angel Reese and other WNBA newcomers highlight the disparity. If certain teams get more national exposure, doesn't that limit the rest? Lisa Leslie's response: networks will flock to big draws. Rather than resent the attention, figure out how to command it yourself by elevating your game. These controversies might make it seem like the league is fracturing, but Lisa sees an opening to unify it. Her approach blends the marketing side, understanding why Caitlin Clark's presence matters, with the fundamentals, demanding that Angel Reese fix her finishing. Her outlook is simply grow or get left behind, and that leads us to what Lisa is really doing here, reshaping leadership and legacy in ways the WNBA desperately needs. The bigger picture: leadership and legacy Lisa. Leslie's name is practically synonymous with women's basketball. From the earliest days, she was a pioneer who faced skeptics, helped legitimize the professional game, and inspired thousands of young athletes to pick up a basketball. Now, retired from the court, but still very much the face of leadership, she's redefining what it means to guide a new generation, lifting the entire league. When Lisa cheers for Caitlin Clark's success, she's not choosing sides. She's choosing the sport. The more Caitlin's star rises, the higher the league climbs. Increased fan engagement, larger broadcasting contracts, more high-profile sponsorships. These are the building blocks of an ecosystem that can someday rival men's leagues in financial viability, challenging mediocrity. Meanwhile, her pointed critique of Angel Reese signals something crucial. Stardom has to be earned continuously. You don't get a free pass on basic skills just because you were unstoppable in college. Lisa's honesty is a wake-up call. Improve your fundamentals or risk being overshadowed. She knows from personal experience how high the stakes are for new players stepping into the pros. College dominance doesn't always translate directly into professional excellence. Those who refuse to adapt can get left behind, and quickly. Mentorship over pity. Where some might see Lisa's remarks as harsh, she sees them as necessary mentorship. In a league that struggles to balance competition and collaboration, she's showing that critique can be a form of support. By pointing out Angel Reese's flaws on a public platform, Lisa essentially invites Angel to fix them and become even stronger. It's a confidence that says, "I trust you can handle this truth." Accountability for all, the real brilliance in Leslie's stance is how it extends to everyone. Veterans who grumble about coverage, rookies who can't finish at the rim, and even the broadcasting networks themselves. None are exempt from her critical gaze. She's inviting the entire WNBA to push beyond comfort zones and embrace a standard where star power is celebrated, but skill development is mandatory. That's how you grow a league in a sustainable way. Yet, as pivotal as Lisa's words are, the final piece of this puzzle rests with how players like Angel Reese choose to respond, which leads us to our concluding focus: putting it all together, a future built on hard truths. If you step back and look at the bigger picture, you see an intriguing tapestry. Caitlin Clark represents transformative star power, someone who can single-handedly draw spectators and magnify the league's footprint. Angel Reese embodies the high-potential newcomer who already has a following, but still needs to polish fundamentals to secure a long, successful career. Lisa Leslie stands for wisdom, leadership, and strategic honesty, the mentor figure who demands the best from rising talents while championing the marketing machine that the league so desperately needs. Put those three forces together, and you get a blueprint for how women's basketball can truly ascend. Caitlin Clark's hype is less about overshadowing others and more about bringing waves of attention that even the league's marketing departments couldn't dream of generating on their own. Angel Reese's journey is about turning potential into mastery, leveraging every bit of advice from legends like Lisa to evolve. Lisa Leslie's vision bridges these narratives, ensuring the energy from college phenoms merges seamlessly with the WNBA's structure and professional demands. All eyes now turn to Angel Reese's next steps. Will she treat Lisa Leslie's critique like a personal slight, or will she see it as the gift it is? Only time will tell, but if she leans in and corrects her finishing issues, she could close the gap between herself and any rival, Caitlin Clark included. That sets up a future where both can reign, pushing each other to break more records and capture more fan interest. And from Lisa's viewpoint, that's the dream scenario. A league brimming with unstoppable talents, each elevating the product on the court while captivating fans off it. Rivalries can still exist, but they serve the purpose of fueling competitive spirit rather than fostering resentment. It's a system in which star power thrives on skill, and skill grows under the pressure of star power, which brings us to one final summary that ties it all together. Beyond the feud, a challenge for everyone. So here we stand at a turning point in women's basketball. In just a few pointed remarks, Lisa Leslie managed to defend one rising icon while nudging another toward uncomfortable self-reflection. Far from dividing the league, her comments serve as a unifying force that urges everyone to step up. To the skeptics who still doubt Caitlin Clark, she's not just a fad, she's a force. Her humility combined with her stats prove she's not hogging glory. She's inviting more people to watch the game that she and so many others love. To Angel Reese, you've got the swagger, you've got the talent, and now you've got the most valuable critique you could ever receive. Own it, fix it, and come back stronger. The world is watching, ready to embrace your transformation. To the WNBA and women's basketball at large, here lies an incredible opportunity. Rather than letting petty spats or jealousies overshadow real progress, harness the energy these two new stars bring. Push for bigger media contracts, feature epic matchups, let fans see the raw passion, the next level abilities, and even the occasional tough love from legends like Lisa Leslie. In the end, this is bigger than any single feud or podcast moment. It's about constructing a future where the marketing machine and the pure spirit of competition coexist, where a star can talk SAT, back it up, and still respect those who paved the way, where a rookie can shake off a shaky layup percentage by grinding every day in the gym, where a veteran can call it like it is and spark growth instead of resentment. That's what Lisa Leslie was aiming for all along. A league that doesn't shy away from hard truths, but uses them to build something far more enduring than a highlight, reel, or a viral social media post. It's a vision that demands accountability, celebrates progress, and calls for a shared sense of purpose among every athlete, coach, and executive involved. Women's basketball has come too far to let jealousy or missed layups stall its momentum. So embrace the rivalry if you want, cheer for your favorite players, and analyze each game as intently as any fan should. But never lose sight of what's happening behind the scenes. Leaders like Lisa Leslie are orchestrating a movement, steering a sport into its next golden era. Are you ready for it? Because the next time Caitlin Clark drains a buzzer beater or Angel Reese powers through a defender for a game-winning layup, spotlights blazing, social media erupting, you'll know whose vision made it all possible.